Okay, everybody, welcome to the tutorial. If you're here to learn something, Three Ninjas was the best movie of all time.
Gamer.
Objection.
And
So
I think it.
we're here to talk about our favorite movies today.
Yeah,
I also think that Zeta has
I was gonna say, I think
again.
at the perfect opportune time, right when I hit record, Zeta has stopped working again.
Oh, it says that my voice is connected.
Oh, yeah,
Can you all
yeah.
hear me?
Oh, yeah, here we go. I hear
There
you.
we go.
Yep.
Yeah, just for a
Oh,
second.
yeah,
we
yeah,
couldn't-
No, it's just turned into a fucking walrus and flew to the moon.
Not sure what walrus is.
So we're talking about our favorite movies this week. Who's starting?
Have we rolled yet?
We didn't roll for an.
Oh, we didn't
Yeah.
roll
Oh,
for
yeah,
initiative.
we're supposed to do that.
Let's roll.
Hold on. I forgot what I did with my dice.
We have a fucking talk initiative. This is the only dice rolling I'm gonna get to do today.
Because everybody's sick.
Yay.
I have to roll
I
for
don't have a
Ringo.
dice, so
What
Steve
kind of
has to-
dice am
Steve
I
has to roll
rolling?
for me.
D20.
D20, yeah. 'cause
Fuck
this
it, I'll
one's a
just roll
nerd.
it on the fucking Google.
Roll
don't
it
care
on the
enough.
Google. Hey, so you roll two numbers, and whichever one is the higher one, you get. 'Cause-
Oh, is that how you want to give me advantage? Is that the?
Yes.
Well, I rolled an 8 and you rolled a 6, so.
Okay, cool.
Wow.
Well, I also
Hey,
rolled a
what'd you roll?
6.
Wow. I rolled a 5.
Jesus Christ, do I really have to go first? All right.
Yeah. Yep. You're going
Yeah,
first.
so why don't,
Well-
in that case, because Dave was talking about Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, why don't we go Steve, Jim, Dave?
Zeta.
What the fuck?
God damn it, Zeta. Now I have to edit it out twice because you made me say it.
I didn't realize you were recording already.
Yes! I did the
Let me
intro.
You're
just-
like, oh, let's start rolling
Let me-
before we start going, and I'm like,
Let me-
Oh
okay.
man. I love how this time you can't even blame me. He said it himself. You can't even be mad at me. I can't even get that goddamn it Dave text. It's not gonna happen. Let the record show that Zeta called his own ass out.
I didn't know we were recording.
Leave this part in, goddammit, by the way.
We've been recording for 3 whole minutes, dude.
Oh my
When
god,
did you-
3 minutes, dude. It's so fucking long. That's like the whole episode already. Jesus Christ.
He did the
I call upon the
intro.
power of
He
the
was
Shawshank.
like, "All right, everybody, welcome to the tutorial. If you came here to learn something, you're in the wrong place."
If you came
I
here to learn
understand.
something, go fuck yourself.
This is fucking brilliant. All right.
Well, in my defense,
Beautiful.
My Discord has not really been behaving today.
Yeah, it's been awful. All right.
In my defense, pick it.
What did we say the order was again between Dave and Ringo?
Beard, Ringo, Leonis, Zeta.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, since we're talking about movies, and apparently since I'm going first, it's time to talk about good old classic heists, bro.
Woo!
My favorite.
Ocean's 21.
Ocean's 21, dude. My favorite.
Oceans, all of the oceans.
How many oceans does
Specific.
this world have? Oceans Atlantic. Oceans. Okay.
Ocean's 22, the Red Sea.
Oceans. The Red Sea. Why?
I don't know, man. I think oceans. I think of different bodies of water.
Well,
that are
anyway.
not oceans.
Yes, Oceans is Oceans is a heist series, and
You cannot handle my strongest oceans.
I love heist films. They're probably consistently my favorite films. I do like other movies, like the Marvel movies are great, but like, bruh, I love a good heist film. The Ocean series, I think, is one of the more popular ones that people know, because You know, that's the good old classic George Clooney heist film thing, where he plays Danny Ocean and he gets together with all his buds, which somehow includes, I think, both Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg. And they go rob a casino, and it's just, it's really good. And of course, Ocean's was a big influence on heist films in general, because there's been heist films previously. Reservoir Dogs is a good example of one. It's considered a heist film. I've never seen it myself, but apparently it's
considered a heist
I've
film.
never seen it. I've also never seen it.
I don't know if I would define it as a heist film.
Well, because apparently, again, I've never seen this. I've only read about it. Apparently, it never actually shows the heist. It just shows what happens before and after the heist. And it's just like super dramatic.
Somebody's echoing.
Somebody's echoing bad, yeah.
Hello.
That was me. That was me. I unplugged my headset so I could walk across the room and get Q-tips.
Oh,
And
I
still
see.
hear what you guys are saying.
I see.
Mm.
I could hear what I was saying too. It was very interesting.
I mean, I assume you can hear what
Wow.
you're saying.
Yeah,
I can't. I'm deaf.
I
can't hear what I
I
say.
sounded like a jackass though. So
Yeah, well, I mean that's.
Well, I mean, that's just how you sound
this is
all the
how I
time.
sound.
We didn't want to say anything, but
But regarding Marvel films, though, I was looking up, as I like to do, lists of heist films, and apparently, Ant-Man is considered a heist film.
Yeah,
It's
what are you
not!
talking about? Of course, it's a heist film. That's the whole crux of it. Is he's got to
No,
go
but
in and
it
steal
was like he went into a lab and stole shit.
Yeah, that's like the. Do you not remember the iconic line? My days of breaking into places and stealing shit is over. What do you want me to do? Well, I want you to break into a place and steal some shit.
Yeah,
That's another movie I haven't seen.
You
haven't seen Ant-Man?
Nope.
You have homework.
it's
No.
I expect a 3-page essay by tomorrow.
it's a good
I
movie.
refuse.
It's a good movie. Yeah, so here's the thing. Ringo's metric for whether or not a film is good is whether or not it's as good as Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which is
Well,
which is
no, my
arguably
metric-
one of the worst films of all time. So
my metric
That's-
for
that's
whether or
not a
not a
hard bar.
movie. My metric for whether or not a movie is good or not is whether I fell asleep during it or not.
that's also a really low bar, considering you usually watch movies when you're 23 hours into a 24-hour marathon.
A marathon of what?
Staying awake.
Oh,
And then the last hour you decide to watch a film and fall asleep halfway through.
that's not really fair to the movies.
Yeah.
it's also not exactly true.
But I was gonna say, Oceans was very influential in. There's a sort of a classic trope with heist films, right, where they do a cut where it's like, I want to say it's almost comic book like, but where they like take one bit and they shove it in the corner, and then they like put another, like they put a cut in and they show what another person is doing, and then they like move that aside and put in another cut in. You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
Yeah, that came from Oceans, as far as I can recall.
Yeah, they tried to do that in Hulk way back when.
No, it didn't.
And it did
work
not work
super
out.
well. Yeah, it didn't work super well.
Because it's
with
not a
that one.
heist movie.
Yeah,
See, it works with a heist movie because you get to see what all the different individual people of the team are like accomplishing. Like they do it a little bit in National Treasure too. You see what the guy in the truck is doing. You see what Nicolas Cage is
Yeah.
doing, and you kind of like get to see the different angles at once, and you see what the lady who catches on to him is doing.
and oh my god, speaking of heist films, National Treasure is a national treasure.
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, only the first one. The second one sucks ass.
I'm gonna kidnap the president of the
It's
United
only because the
States.
second one was about Riley Poole, and they just did not do that man justice.
Yeah, really. They were too busy with like, yo, he was in The Hangover. Yeah, National Treasure though is one of the most like ridiculous. Like it's. I'll put it this way: it's like the Da Vinci Code, but better. Because like the Da Vinci Code was all about like, oh, we're trying to find this thing, or we're trying to solve this puzzle based on religious subtext, or something like that. Whereas National Treasure was like, we're just gonna go ham with bullshit American history. Some of it was real. Some of it was like, come on, Ben Franklin didn't invent special lenses to read a map on the back of the Declaration of Independence. What are you on?
No, where they get that from is because he invented special lenses. And so they're like, oh, let's just crank this up to it. Everything about history that they do in that movie is just cranked up to 11.
It is. And it's like, oh, here's the Freemasons, which is a real group, but not nearly that cool.
Yeah, here's the Freemasons. Suddenly they're the Illuminati.
Yeah.
They are that secretive, though.
They are secretive, but they're nowhere near that cool.
But the fact that you know absolutely that they exist and you can identify easily where they meet, you're just not allowed in the door unless you're part of the club, is very different from the Illuminati.
Yes.
Another heist film that I hadn't considered, but I came across it in my lists was The Pink Panther. And I was like, "Oh my god, that was a heist film!" But I was so I was so busy with the fact that it was a comedy.
Old classic heist films.
Yeah,
Actually, I do have another movie I want to talk about. As long as you're talking about heist films, Maltese Falcon.
I don't know that one.
You don't know Maltese Falcon?
I sure as hell don't.
It's
Nope.
okay. I don't know it either. Don't feel left
Wow.
out.
No,
David, if
you
would
people
care
have
to
real
explain the
homework.
quintessential film
Fuck your
noir to
fucking
these
homework. Fuck.
uneducated dolts.
Excuse me.
Okay, so the basic premise of the film.
Don't let me in with this, asshole. What the fuck are you talking about?
All right, we're gonna have to cut that out now.
Excuse me. Excuse me. The quintessential noir film is Casablanca, and I have seen that one, so fuck you.
The quintessential film noir is Maltese Falcon. You are objectively wrong.
You're
Oh my
wrong.
God.
If it was the quintessential noir film, I would have fucking learned about it in film class. But no, we watched Casablanca.
Who is your film teacher?
No.
Okay, when I took the same fucking class, we watched Maltese Falcon.
It's fucking
Both of
ridiculous.
them.
It's fucking ridiculous. I'll fucking call. I'll fucking call. Whoa. And I'll ask him.
On the fucking podcast.
Yeah.
No.
What?
I don't actually have his pasta is delicious. That would
Where's
be
the quintessential film noir?
that would be hilarious. He'd be like, dude,
I would say that Maltese Falcon
I'm
is
in the middle of
probably
something.
the first major heist film.
He got
It's
fired.
probably
I also like potatoes.
the heist film that like started the trend of heist films.
Did he finally
And-
become George Clooney's body double?
No, he slept with a student.
Oh, I see. That's somehow both more and less entertaining.
It's also
Bummer.
strangely more like George Clooney too.
Yeah.
Anyway, the idea of the Maltese Falcon was that there was this I don't remember the name, but I do remember the word Maltese comes from the name of the people that supposedly gave this falcon of gold and jewels to the pharaoh as a tribute, and it supposedly passed hands over all the years, and at some point it was covered in like wax and other stuff to hide how valuable it actually was, so that you don't
Find it.
find it because they want to keep it secret. And so the whole film is about finding the true real Maltese Falcon. And at the end of the day, the Maltese Falcon is little more than a MacGuffin.
What?
It's just there because everyone wants it. So you follow the exploits of this guy trying to track down the Maltese Falcon, and
Who I
like,
might
there's a-
add was played by Humphrey Bogart, which is like the quintessential film noir.
Yeah, he
detective, so-
was also the main character in Casablanca.
I am aware of this, yes, but Maltese Falcon came first.
Fuck you. I don't know anything about either of those movies.
You know what? You know what?
That's because you're uneducated.
I appreciate that, Ringo. Fuck you for no particular reason. Just fuck you.
I thought he said he hadn't seen either of them.
Yeah,
he hasn't.
I said, fuck you. I don't know anything about either of those movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so Maltese Falcon, I think in the end, if I recall correctly, spoilers if you haven't seen the movie, the Maltese Falcon is not real, or they never track it down at least.
Well, I
No,
gathered
they,
that
they
much
do,
from
but
when
the
you said it was a
characters
MacGuffin,
that are
'cause I know
doing
what
the
that
tracking
is.
don't ever realize that. Because again, spoilers. The big
The
twist
real
of the movie
Maltese
is
Falcon was the
girl
friends
that
we made
comes
along the
to
way.
Bogart's character
Oh my God.
for help. She's like, "Oh, I have this wax statue of a falcon, and I know that this is the style in which the Maltese Falcon was." It turns out that was the Maltese Falcon the entire time. The only person that knows is the woman.
Wow.
Because that's also where you get the femme fatale was her character, because she like made all the other characters spend all this money and go through all this danger when she already had the treasure.
Wow.
There's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm not going to make it.
Go on. And as usual, Ringo makes the jokes we have to cut out.
Oh my God.
And that's gonna have to get edited out.
Yep.
God. Ringo, why the...
Ringo the hyper misogynist.
I've had it up to here with you. Political...
Mac
You
is
little...
bad.
Nice.
Mac is bad.
Now we just need someone on the podcast to just go, ugh, men.
Perfect.
You, Zeta.
When are we gonna start having guests?
At some point when we reach 100 or more subscribers, maybe.
We have to get through the jests first before we can have the guests.
Moving on through heist films,
Yeah.
I remember something
Yeah.
we
Not even at the
mentioned.
end.
We mentioned when we attempted this before was Italian Job.
Thanks for pulling that curtain
Wait.
back on us.
Wait, did we talk about Italian Job? I don't recall.
Yes,
that.
Italian Job is a fucking great movie, dude.
Italian Job is the better version of the Ocean's films.
Hold on.
Why is it pulling the
put it
curtain
on-
back to say that like we tried to record this once
What
and it
was
fucked up, and then we
what
tried to record. Now we're recording it for real.
Have you?
Okay.
What was the movie where they?
Now we
they
perfectly
just-
did it on the first time. Every time we never make any mistakes.
What was the movie? It was a heist movie. I don't remember very much about it, but I remember they all called each other by numbers instead of their names, and they all played a specific role. There was a driver, fucking like computer hacker person or whatever.
It sounds like Italian Job.
It sounds like
There
Italian
was-
Job.
Is that Italian Job? Okay,
You'll never
That's what I
catch the
thought,
real
but I wasn't
Napster.
sure. At the beginning of the movie, the fucking first driver dies, gets fucking impaled by a forklift.
Holy shit.
That's
All right, that
not
doesn't sound like Italian Job.
That,
It
that
doesn't
part
sound like
doesn't
Italian
sound
Job.
like Italian Job. No.
Okay, well,
No one dies. It's Italian Job.
Well, no. At the beginning of the Italian Job, it's the girl's father dies because the one guy betrays them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dude, the
But
one
it's
I'm
not-
thinking of, they have to get a new driver because the driver at the beginning of the movie crashes into a fucking forklift and gets fucking impaled.
You might be thinking of Baby Driver.
It could
Is
be
it
Baby Driver.
No, I don't think it was
The
Baby
whole
Driver.
thing about Baby Driver is the crew needs to get a new driver, and they get this kid who turns out to be like the best getaway driver on planet
Yeah.
Earth.
He's also
but
half
it-
deaf.
I remember there was a
No, he's like
there
all
was a pilot that faked his death was one of the members of the crew.
I having the foggiest.
I
have
don't
no
know what
idea
you're
what
talking
fucking-
about.
I have no clue what movie this is, by the way. It's a fucking like I know it's I've seen about like 5 minutes of it.
I'm curious.
don't
Does
have a
anybody
fucking
else?
clue what movie
Does
this
anybody
is.
else have a movie that you've seen that you just have no fucking clue about? Because I do have
Anybody
one.
what? Can you repeat the question?
I've got
Do you
a
have-
lot of movies.
Do you
that I've
have a
seen, I
movie
don't
that
know
you've
what the
seen
fuck
that
they
you
are.
have no fucking clue about? Because I definitely have one.
It's a sci-fi movie, I think, but
I
yeah.
think.
What movie?
I don't even know.
You
if
don't know
I
what it's
actually
called?
Remember this movie? I don't. I
Okay.
remember like 10 minutes of it. It's really vague, and I'm probably remembering it incorrectly. David and Steven will remember. Ringo, you were not even around yet. The very first house we lived in Arizona, around the corner. Y'all remember William, the giant?
No.
I remember
think
him.
we were at his place.
I might have been too young for this.
We could have been at one of our other friends around that same time. But I remember like they were watching some kind of movie. And all I remember is it was like there was an alien ? And
Okay.
this guy is at a work site of some kind, maybe a mine or something like that. And he gets exposed to some kind of crazy alien technology and like aggressively shapeshifts into a more handsome man by literally peeling out of his own skin.
What the fuck?
Do not recall
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Are
I'm
you
pretty
sure-
sure I was.
Are you
high
sure
on
this
something
isn't
that
just
they
like a
smoked in that
Sephora
house.
ad or something?
Are you also sure that it's not just a fucking nightmare that you convinced yourself was a real thing that happened?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't even know if this was actually something I remember, or if I just weirdly hallucinated it and it stuck with me because it was so fucking random.
I do not
I
recall this.
yeah, that's a little
I
out
have
there.
tried throughout the years to find this film, and I never have.
Google search history.
There's
Sci-fi film where man transforms into handsome man.
Because he's
Where
like,
man aggressively
average,
transforms into
like-
handsomer version of
he's like
himself.
this average, like pudgy,
Man-
workplace guy
man-
with like the vest and the shirt.
Man
and he's
go,
just, his
man
belly
go, man
hangs
go,
out.
man
and then
go
he, like,
mine
fucking-
cocoon handsome man. Aliens.
He like fucking
So-
peeled out of that. And he's
So
like,
here's the
Mr.
thing.
GQ.
Actually, I do have a movie like that, but we figured out what that movie was when we did the Isekai episode.
What movie was that?
What movie? was that?
The one with the present box or whatever,
Oh yeah.
I forget the name of.
Mhm.
where they went to like the land, the cartoon land, and it was like the king of numbers and
The Page Master?
No,
No.
I've already forgotten
No,
what that
that-
movie was called.
yeah,
too.
I don't remember what it was called either.
It's got
Um,
the princess's rhyme and reason or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so like I was gonna say like that was one of those things where like I very distinctly remember the scene of him talking about
I think it might have been called.
Princesses.
I think it might have been called the Phantom Toll Booth.
yeah, something like
yeah,
that.
Phantom Toll Booth.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's
yeah,
funny
yeah.
is if I look up movie with a kid who has a hot rod and goes into an animated world with princesses, the first thing that comes up is actually Enchanted.
I mean,
yes, he
And
totally
the
has a
second one
hot
that comes
rod.
up is Phantom Toll Booth.
I mean, they're not wrong.
I don't remember there being a hot rod in Enchanted,
I
but
don't
I
remember
only
him
watched
having a
it
hot
once.
rod
And I was
either.
like half asleep. All I remember is it
Um,
has James Marsden in it.
So-
as a
so-
completely
So
inept
since the
freak.
only person who hasn't shared the movie they have no
Well,
idea
Amy
about
Adams is in it
Yeah,
too.
do you want me to
Remember, I was
talk
really
about
like, oh my
the
God.
movie
is
that I had no...
RGB.
I actually do know what the movie's called. I still don't know what exactly it's about. But it's called...
So with results like that, let's try to find that movie that I just described a minute ago.
It's...
Movie where man
Oh, here we go. Man transformed to handsome man. Aliens mind. Aggressively.
man.
Movie where man aggressively transforms into handsome man. Aliens.
Oh
wanna know
my
what the-
god. Yes, I do.
You wanna know
Please
what the
tell
three
me.
results?
Please
You
tell
wanna know what
me.
the 3 results that Google gave me was?
Yes, I want to know.
Is one of them
Man's
Megamon?
best friend. Once Upon a Time in America. And Furry Vengeance. None of which are anything at all like what I described.
Wow.
All right. Beard, what the fuck is your movie that you have no idea about?
I have no idea.
It's
I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old, and I just remember being like, "What?"
I
the
said
hell
Beard,
am I
not
looking at?
Zeta.
it's called it's called Collision
Old
is the
Brother
name
Beard.
of the film, and I know that it stars I know that it has Ben what's his name? The
Ben
guy who played
Stiller?
the guy who played the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. Ben Kingsley.
Kingsley.
And it has Sir Silence of
Are
the
you sure
Lambs.
it's Collision and not Collide?
It might be Collide. But here's the thing, right? I watched this film.
Does
Well,
it also have Anthony Hopkins in it?
yes, it has Sir Anthony Hopkins. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Collide.
Here's the thing. I watched this movie while I was donating plasma. It had no
Paid for
sound.
his girlfriend's medical emergency while abroad, Casey schemes to pull a drug heist for an eccentric gangster. After a failed attempt, he embarks across Europe on an action-packed chase in a race against time to save his girlfriend's life from being taken by an evil drug lord.
Okay, I'll take that. I don't really know because, like I said, I was donating plasma and there was no sound, and the entire film just looked like a fucking Darude music video with this guy just constantly running. Like, that's all it is. Like, he's always running. Like, he's either like running on foot, or he's in a car and getting chased, or he's like on a bicycle getting chased. And then there's random moments where he'll be like there'll be a slow motion shot. I remember very clearly there's a slow motion shot where like the car he's in is getting turned over and his girlfriend appears as like a hallucination in the seat next to him and is like talking to him or something. I don't know, there's no sound. And I'm just like, what like weird fucking music video is this? What the fuck? And then there's like a really tense moment with Ben Kingsley and the other guy, Anthony Hopkins. And they're like arguing over something. And then it's back to running again. And I'm just like, what is the point of this movie? I have no fucking clue. And I have never gone back and watched it with sound, even though I know what it is. I'm just like, what the fuck?
It's almost like it's more valuable to you not knowing.
It may just be that I want to preserve the not knowing of it. Yeah. So heist films.
Interesting. Let's move on to
Yeah. I wanted
Ringo.
to. Oh, okay. I was going to talk about
Well,
Inception.
I thought-
Inception.
Oh, you're gonna talk about Inception? All right. Cool.
Inception is a heist film. Just so we're clear on that.
It's like a really weird heist film.
The whole point was for them to go to like take the guy really deep into his dream and convince him that they were his friends and he should give them the secret formula. That was the whole point of the movie.
The secret formula.
But they just
The
also
Crowds had the
did.
formula.
They were supposed to put something in his mind.
Oh, I guess,
That's
yeah.
the point of Inception.
Oh, you're talking, yeah, Inception.
but they also went really fucking weird with it because they went into dreamland. So they were like, I don't know, nothing makes sense. Just fucking roll with it.
Dream a little bigger, love. Pulls out.
Yeah, pulls out a grenade launcher. Yeah. And then just like at the end of the movie, it's like, are they out of the dream or not? You don't know.
Yeah, he puts
fucking
the
hate
spinning
movies
top
like
and
that,
it doesn't actually like
It doesn't
film long
stop.
enough for you
Yeah.
to know.
Yeah, which
Also,
is like how you're supposed to know that he's still in the dream.
another classic heist film, The Usual Suspects, which is less comedy and more drama.
I don't think I've
it's-
seen that one.
That's one I haven't seen. I've heard a lot about though.
That one
Yeah,
that
same.
one features a very, very young Kevin Spacey.
A very young Kevin Spacey.
God damn it, Zeta.
Whoa, back when he was a child.
Holy shit. Thanks for that editing work, Zeta.
What did he say?
And that's twice. He said.
Okay.
Also, I'm gonna know exactly when these happen because when I look at this on the editing on the readout, it's just a bar. It's just a flat tone. Yeah, and then just
so
like,
that's why you do that.
just some of the other, just really quickly, some of the other films I have on my list. Now You See Me, which was fun because they used stage magic to rob a bank, or
Yes.
Yeah, Now You See Me is great.
Wasn't there a
is-
second movie?
yeah, and there was a second movie, and the second movie was kind of
Sequels to heist movies are usually pretty Oceans is the only one that consistently did it well.
See, let's see. Here's the thing, right? If I look at actual reviews of the Ocean's movies, right? Ocean's 11 was really, people liked it a lot. Ocean's 12 people didn't like so much. Ocean's 13 people were like, they turned it back around and made it great again.
Yeah.
Ocean's
The
great.
only Oceans film that I like legitimately did not like was Ocean's 8.
Yeah, because you don't like when people typecast an entire cast of a film.
It's not worth
Yeah.
it.
Because
It's like new Ghostbusters. New Ghostbusters bad.
yeah, New Ghostbusters is also bad. Like
Well, we
it's-
have two new
especially
Ghostbusters
because
now,
they
now
go-
we also have the one with Paul Rudd.
Especially when they go like, let's put in Chris Hemsworth, but his entire character is just a walking joke.
I didn't watch New Ghostbusters, so I don't know.
They literally like they fucking throw a sandwich at him at some point, and he just catches it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they throw like a fully wrapped Subway sandwich at him. His whole character is literally just a walking joke. A couple other ones I have on here. Charade or Charade, depending on how you want to say it. It's an Audrey Hepburn film, but man, was it good.
I feel like I saw
I don't
that.
know that one. I've never heard of it.
So that was interesting because most of the time the heist is like, we're gonna go break into a bank or whatever. It's similar to how you describe Maltese Falcon, I guess, a little bit, in the sense that the main character of the film, which is Audrey Hepburn's character, has the treasure the whole time. But all the
Is
other
that the
characters
movie with
are
the
trying to
iconic
get it
line,
from her.
Frankly, my dear, I couldn't give a damn.
No, that's Gone in 60 Seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Was Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy a heist film?
I think so, but I fell asleep halfway through that one because it was just like, it was just like a lot of scenes of like old people looking out windows, and it wasn't very entertaining.
Tinker
Um,
Tailor Soldier Spy from 2011. Okay, maybe. It's got Gary Oldman, Benedict Cumberbatch, Tom Hardy. This looks like it's probably in the bleak days of the Cold War, espionage veteran George Smiley is forced from semi-retirement to uncover a Soviet agent within MI6. So yeah, I don't think I've actually seen that. I think I remember seeing.
No, it's
yeah,
not really a
no,
heist movie.
I like I said,
A spy movie.
I have watched it, but I didn't find it very entertaining. But if you want to go to the Cold War, Man from U.N.C.L.E. was a heist film.
Man from U.N.C.L.E. The heist film I remember that like actually left an imprint on me was Brothers Bloom.
Brothers Bloom was so
I don't think
good.
I saw that one.
Yeah, that's another one. That's similar to Now You See Me, where they use, rather than using, I think they use stage magic once or twice, but their whole thing is they are con men. Like they just bullshit their way through
Conman,
everything.
yeah. Well, the older brother, his whole part of it is because he make things look more than they are.
You are breaking up.
Brother Bloom.
Yeah.
No, what the hell was his name?
Mark Ruffalo and Adrian Brody.
Mark Ruffalo is one of the.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking it was name, but apparently I'm very much incorrect.
You are breaking
But I
up
also had,
so badly.
You're starting to
Rachel
sound like a
Weisz
robot,
as
man.
as a chick.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there was just like some random Asian chick that showed up. They were like, "Oh yeah, that's Bam Bam or Bang Bang or whatever they called her," and it's like,
Yeah, right.
She's just here. I'm super curious to know.
I found a picture. She's dressed like Cruella de Vil, but with a cowboy hat.
Yes, yeah.
What the fuck?
I think the idea was she was another con artist that Diamond Dog trained.
I don't know. I don't know what her. I don't know what her deal
Yeah,
was.
I think she was.
But they never tell you that, though.
Played by Ringo.
But yeah, the whole thing was that the older brother was like, "I just want to pull."
Who apparently just one day appeared out of thin air.
Yes, that's literally the story.
That's literally the review of the movie. Is that like she knows the older brother because she just joined him on a heist one day, and he was just kind of like, "Who are you?" And she didn't say anything, and then she just was like part of the team, whether he liked it or not.
Yeah. She doesn't talk or explain herself in the slightest. She's just there, and then later in the movie, she's just not there. That's just it.
Interesting.
And they call her Bang Bang because she's an explosives expert.
Yes, like that is the least like that is the character that I know of personally that has the least story and is the most interesting.
She's the most interesting because they don't tell you shit about her.
Exactly, they don't give you anything, and it makes her such an interesting character.
Didn't we also cover the International and how it acted like a heist film, but then just
it's sort of a heist
it
film.
wasn't.
Sort of a
Oh my
film.
god, the International's a disaster. Like
It ends in what feels like the middle of the movie.
Just when it picks up and it's like, all right, we're getting into it. Then it's like, that's the end of the film. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it made no sense. Okay, I do think we need to start moving on to other people.
Yeah.
Ringo.
I love heist movies. They're great. Ringo, what do you have to say? Apparently, he has to say.
Oh, he just said,
I gotta talk. Hold on, give me a second.
I have to speak. What a goddamn inconvenience to me. I'm just sitting here trying to order my Uber Eats out of my self-driving car so I can feed my pet Roomba. I'm talking about you Gen Z motherfucker.
So why does that automatically mean that I have first of all a pet Roomba, second of all a self-driving car, third of all that I'm ordering Uber Eats?
Don't forget your Amazon Alexa.
I don't have any of those.
A wiretap.
No.
I mean, some people want to tap that wire, if you know what I mean.
Hopefully not.
Damn.
I really don't want to.
that no.
I could go off on a mini tangent about Samsung's digital assistant.
No. We don't. We do not need that.
The immediate explosive growth on the internet.
Explosive growth is not something I want to hear right after you start talking about.
That's a good way to put it, though.
Sam got real popular real quick. Yeah. Not for the reasons you think.
I guess I should just talk about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas again.
Yeah, that's what you want to do.
Okay, well, it was a movie that was based off of a book, which the book was called the same thing. It was made in 1998, and it was what's it called? It stars Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro, and basically they go to Las Vegas and trip balls for like a weekend. The guy that Johnny Depp plays, the character's name is Raoul Duke. He's supposed to be going to fucking like write an article because he's a reporter or like a journalist. He's supposed to go write an article about this race. I forget what the fuck the race is called. Hold on. You know, I don't remember what the race is called, but he's supposed to be going there to write about this race, and he ends up going with his lawyer, who's Benicio del Toro, to just go fucking do a shitload of drugs, and then doesn't write about the race, and that's basically the whole movie. But at the end of the movie,
Sounds like the worst journalist.
at the end of the movie, there is a scene where he's had this tape recorder with him this whole time. There's the scene where he's like alone in the fucking trashed hotel room, and he's listening back to the shit on the tape recorder, and it's a bunch of like him and the other guy high off their asses. It's like some things that happened earlier in the movie, but some parts of it that it didn't show you. Because what it did show you was basically like, okay, well, these guys are like high off their ass, and this is what they're going through, and this is what they're experiencing, and what they remember of those experiences. And then the fucking tape recorder has, you know, shit that they didn't remember happening, and like stuff that kind of ties parts of the movie together that otherwise would have been like loose ends. It's hard to
you're high off your ass.
Yeah, it's hard to explain.
It sounds like
having watched the movie.
It sounds similar to The Big Lebowski in the sense that it would be better if you were high when you watched it.
Yeah, or just incredibly sleep deprived. That works too.
Turn on the neon signs and the disco ball and smoke a toke and watch a fucking movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Do I sound like I know what I'm doing?
No. You sound like an old man.
Sick drag, bro.
Yeah.
Let's inject the pills into our blood vessels.
Okay,
Stop,
hold on.
please.
Hold on. Wait a fucking second.
This is pain.
Don't stay in drugs. Don't do school.
Drink 8 hours of milk.
Don't do school.
Drink 8 hours of milk. Somehow this is a better plot than Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Stand up, don't do school, and get 8 hours of drugs.
There's a lot of like scenes in the fucking movie
Stay
that's
asleep,
like
don't do school.
get 8 hours of drugs.
And get 8 hours of drugs.
Yeah.
That man looks like he's followed all of those advice.
There's fucking at the very fucking beginning of the movie, the very first scene of the movie is them driving like 30 miles over the speed limit across the fucking stretch of the highway that's between LA and New Vegas and
New Vegas.
Shut up. Between LA and Las Vegas. I was trying to say Nevada and Las Vegas at the same time, but it's fucking
It came out in New Vegas, which is objectively better.
Yeah. But anyway, they're driving in the fucking middle of the desert on the highway, you know, well over the fucking speed limit, already tripping and seeing fucking like a swarm of bats in the sky that's not fucking there. And that's like what the fucking one of the funny shits, one of the fucking funniest parts of the movie is they come across a hitchhiker on that highway, and it's fucking Tobey Maguire with like long blonde hair.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
You telling me it's like Backstreet Boys fanboy Tobey Maguire?
it is legitimately Tobey Maguire. It's not even
Oh
like fake
my
fucking,
God.
like somebody that it's actually Tobey Maguire, and he's like, hot damn, I never rode in a convertible before.
I'm gonna be Spider-Man.
And then they see him later, and they're like, they like freak out about it, and they fucking drive away.
Wow.
They see him again later.
Hey guys, you want to see a shit movie that makes no sense? Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Well, it fucking
How
read the
much you want to
book.
bet there's a cult following that's like, but it's so deep.
Oh,
yo."
100%.
Of course there is.
100%.
Of course there is.
Drug user types be like that.
I don't even have to guess. There's a cult following for Big Lebowski. Why wouldn't there be one for Fear and Loathing?
They're all like, yeah, but when this happens, it really means this.
Here's the thing. I've seen the movie. I have not read the book. I would recommend reading the book.
The movie makes no sense. Read the source material, please.
Yeah. Read the book and then watch the movie.
It's funny because I would say the exact same thing about Ender's Game.
Ender's
Oh, Ender's Game is a really good. The movie, though, yeah, if you haven't read the book, the movie makes no goddamn sense.
What was that one? What was that movie that was just Jaden Smith runs across the a post-apocalyptic planet?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
It's called like After Earth or something.
The remake of
I think it was
Karate.
called
Oh, yeah,
After
After
Earth.
Earth. Yeah, it was called After Earth.
After Earth.
After Earth. Yep, and it
Yeah,
did so
yeah.
poorly
Will Smith
that
is
it changed Will Smith's idea about what he should get his son involved in.
Will Smith is like injured in the ship, and Jaden Smith has to like run across the planet twice.
Go across the Earth that's now covered in fear monsters or whatever.
No, it's now covered in
Like, don't starve monsters.
It's
no.
like animals. It's like these crazy monster
Everything on Earth
animals
has
that can
evolved to
smell
kill
fear.
Like,
humanity. That's the
Like
idea.
fucking. Oh, so it's Australia, the planet.
It's
Yeah.
Space
Australia took over.
Australia. We've become
Space
Space
Australia.
Hey,
Australia.
Space Australia.
Planet Australia.
Space Australia.
It's Australia, but with a lot more jungle, mate.
And a lot more Jaden Smith.
Yeah.
Jaden Smith.
Is it-
Have you ever
Interesting.
seen a
Offensive.
wild Jaden Smith? He's gonna run right into the hot zone.
Yeah, and he's got like a weird transforming spear, sword, arrow, bow thing.
Arrow, bow.
Spear, sword, arrow, bow thing.
Spear, sword, arrow, bow, gun,
He's
AR
like
this
15.
He's
Nano
armed-
tech
he's
thing
armed
with
with
clear
his
launch
form
code.
of
special
whatever melee
weapon
he
from
wants.
his father.
He's armed with
Takes up his father's sword, bow, spear thing.
he's armed with bullshit and plot armor.
He's armed with
That is
bullshit.
true.
He's armed with bullshit and plot armor. There's no way any of these wild animals will be able to stop him.
Well, they don't.
Yeah, because he's
What?
armed with bullshit
Spoiler.
and plot armor.
He's like
Right now,
he's
we'll
like
follow
a kid
him
in a
with
Studio Ghibli film.
We're-
He's got
we're
a
following-
biplane, he's invincible.
we'll follow him with the camera, and with any luck, we'll get enough footage to make a 3-hour runtime movie.
I don't think that movie was
Most
3
of which
hours,
is
was
literally
it?
runtime.
Oh man, there was a bit about the fear creatures, but it
I
was, there's
will
only one in
say,
the film.
so glad to
I'm
have
sorry.
alienated our entire Australian audience.
I'm sorry, was there a fucking After Earth 2?
Was there?
Was there?
Not that I'm aware of.
I started typing After Earth into Google and it comes up with the After Earth 2 full movie.
I don't know. Maybe some cult following that wanted that.
What the fuck? Hold on.
No, I don't think there is. I think it's just a fucking search. I think people just looked up After Earth 2. No, that's definitely not legit because the link is www.chillmovie.com/.
No. No.
It's definitely not legit.
No, apparently there was
No.
supposed to be one, but the movie did so poorly it never happened.
Well, obviously.
What a wonderful film that was. I haven't seen that one either.
Anything else you wanted to discuss, Ringo?
I'm gonna take that as a no.
Like hot
Yeah.
chocolate and caribou?
Nah, I'm okay with that one. I'm okay with not talking about that one.
I don't know what you're talking
Caribou.
about.
Caribou!
Okay. Now I know what you're talking about. You're talking about
Oh, we got
The
him!
movie where everyone
Polar
is,
Drift
Tom
Express.
Yes.
Hanks. Yeah.
The Polar Drift Express.
Your
Yep.
number of edits on
To
YouTube
the
that
right.
plays Tokyo Drift over that.
To the left! To the right!
Oh man, I'm sure someone's also put deja vu. I have been in this place before.
I guarantee you 100% they have because I have that video. I have that video in my favorites.
Polar Express deja vu. Fuck, I accidentally control pasted a fucking URL.
It literally.
Yeah.
How to drift a fucking train.
When I think about favorite movies, so since I go next, I think probably going way back, some of the most formative ones I have are Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. But I also know that Zeta wants to talk about Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. So I'm going to only briefly talk about that.
You're gonna
And just
fuck
that,
it
like,
up. You're gonna fuck it up one of these times, Dave. I'll catch you.
I mean, he fucked it up at the beginning, so
Yeah,
I'm waiting.
You know.
I'm
you
waiting.
get to have the exact name of the tips instead.
you know. Here's the thing, though. Right now, what's happening is every time I go to say his name, I actually like mentally stop for a second
Because
and
you're
I
like,
can
oh,
forget
yeah,
why.
he
No,
said it.
like
huh?
I'm sitting here, like, why am I stopping? Why did my brain stop? Oh wait, right, I have to say Zeta. So, I don't think you're gonna catch me as clearly as you think you will. It'll be a minute. But what I
Mhm.
did want to mention is just that, like, Star Wars and Lord of the Rings established my love of science fiction and fantasy, and like I would say probably Indiana Jones also was a pretty formative series for me as well.
Indiana Jones.
Star Wars was like
Indiana Jones was a great series of films. Crystal Skull was.
eh,
Crystal Skull
What
doesn't
was-
really
do you remember
fit
that
in
scene?
Jones.
I forget which movie it was. I forget which one of the Indiana Jones movies. You remember the ants? I think it was
Yes.
Raiders of the Lost
No,
Ark. You remember the
no,
fucking
that's
ants?
Crystal Skull.
that's
Crystal
Crystal
Skull?
Skull.
You
yeah,
remember
Yep.
the fucking ants, dude?
yeah, I do.
No, that's Crystal Skull.
That's 100% Crystal Skull.
yeah,
That's one of my favorite fucking scenes. I'll say the action sequences in Crystal Skull where they're doing just absolute bullshit are great. But
The more
Like
introspective
swashbuckling
stuff
on
is
top of a
terrible.
car with
The-
a Ukrainian-
Yes,
yeah, the plot
yes, that was brilliant.
the plot is just garbage. The plot is garbage, but Shia LaBeouf and Harrison Ford doing
Harrison Ford.
action movie bullshit is great.
I didn't want to say, like, for me, seeing with Star Wars, like, that was like my first experience to like spaceships and things and flying through space and huge, epic like battles between spaceships. And that was like an intellectual awakening for me.
I had
an I was a kid and I was like-
awakening. Sorry, I fucked up my
Whatever, you're
throat.
gonna make fun of me for the other stuff I'm gonna talk about in a minute anyway.
Oh no. Okay, I'll shut up.
But I just mean like it was an awakening of like, oh my god, I really like this. I want more of this, and I had never I think specifically Star Wars. I had never before. Like I'd seen cartoons and movies and stuff that I enjoyed, but I never had that feeling of like, oh my god, I want more of this specific thing. I never felt that before. Star Wars was like the first time that I felt that attached to a specific like a specific type of thing to want to have more of. I wanted more big space fights. I wanted more epic space battles. And similarly, Lord of the Rings is just a really epic series with a lot of epic fantasy fighting and a lot of whatnot. And I feel like a lot of fantasy falls flat because Lord of the Rings magic is like so alien and out there, and to pull off magic you have to do so much bullshit. Whereas in so many other things, like magic is just like I cast fireball, and I feel like it definitely gave a different feeling to that world. That's like my first exposure to like a dark lord and a rising up against it and everything, and that was another thing I really liked and wanted more of. But I'll leave my talk on Star Wars and Lord of the Rings there for now.
I like lightsabers. Lightsabers are cool.
Yeah, lightsabers are cool.
Lightsabers are cool, and I'll agree with that.
I have a really good one.
It wasn't the thing that I pulled away from Star Wars, but it is definitely iconic. And to be fair, I'd argue I enjoy the lightsaber fights in the prequels more than the originals.
Honest to God,
choreographed.
I would love to actually like shoot a video where we do a lightsaber fight. That would be so goddamn cool.
We need more lightsabers.
Yeah. Well, Zeta has one or two.
Buy me $500 lightsaber now.
Zeta has a couple.
He doesn't have a $700 lightsaber.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, but you know, Zeta would want to just dual wield into that fight.
He's got like a
$200. The problem is one of mine has an acrylic blade, so it's not meant to be hit against things. It's
let me just buy a plastic one from Walmart, and I'll just use that.
Anyway, the two movies I wanted to talk about that kind of furthered a more specific. So, I really liked the space thing, but I found that a derivative of that was not necessarily steampunk, but airships. And I really, really love the concept of airships and these big airship battles and whatnot that you see in some media. And I would say right now, probably my favorite variation on that is this anime show called, damn it all, I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Is it Al Noah Zero?
No, that's space. I like that one too. But the airship one is not called that. It's called, hold on. I'll be able to tell what it is in a second because I know the name. I know the subtitle of the sequel.
I'm curious to know what this is.
Last Exile, that's the name of it.
Oh. Okay.
I feel like I remember you and Chocolate explaining that to me very briefly.
Last Exile is very cool, but it's a series. It's not a movie, so I'm not gonna talk about it. We're here to talk about movies, but I am going to talk about the movie that got me on the hype train for airships, which every last one of the people in this call hates except for me. And it was called Aero Troopers: The Nemesis.
Before he starts talking about this, let's all just shut up, let him get this over with, so we never have to hear about it again.
Yes, I agree. I'm trying my hardest.
Rubber bullet.
Okay. Okay. I'll let you make your jokes in a minute.
Speak,
but
Eden.
I didn't I didn't want to go over the whole movie because it's terrible animation, and it's I agree with most of your gripes about it. I wanted to make the point that it was the first movie that it introduced me to this concept of having these big airship battles and having not just spaceships, but you could basically have spaceships, but it's on the planet. And I know that that sounds really dumb, but I had never thought of that. And again, you have to remember, I'm talking about like formative films for myself here. And I watched this when I was like 10, and it was the most amazing shit in the world to me that back then. Because you had this airship that was basically like a literal swimming shark that, you know, swam through the air and devoured entire islands. And there were like the world that they built for it was really cool. The concept of like having floating islands everywhere, and we have no fucking clue what's happening on the surface of the planet. All we know is there's these flying islands in the sky, and then the only way to get between them is these like trade airships that go between islands, and some islands are very isolationist and some aren't.
I will say that the very beginning of Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword has a similar feel.
It does. It very much does. Until you find out that the only island of...
better animated.
Until you find out that the only island of any considerable size is Skyloft, and all the other ones suck. But but yeah, I didn't want to talk about necessarily the story or whatever. Just that this was a really cool world, and I was really interested in the world of it. I was really interested in the concept of airship battles, and that culminated like. Now I watch something like Last Exile, and that really scratches my itch of seeing that, because Last Exile is like pretty much nothing but airship stuff, and it's so cool. But Last Exile is very steampunky. The other movie, if you guys want to make your jokes about Aero Troopers, you're free to do so now.
Aero Trooper sucks.
Bad movie.
It looks like
Sky Whale.
It looks like it was animated on the back of a pancake.
It looks like it was
It
animated.
really
It looks like it was made out of fucking. The animation was made out of fucking nail polish.
I feel like
The
I have to
problem
explain
I
why we
have
had such a
primarily with the
tense.
animation is like everything has doll eyes, so it's just.
I feel like we
Moffat
do have to
therapy.
explain why everyone was suddenly so fucking tense when I brought up this movie.
I wasn't
The
tense.
animation
I
looks
was,
like the fucking inside of my ass.
I was stifling laughing is what I was doing. It's such a dumb
All right.
movie.
The other movie that moved me in that same vein of airships and cool future technology and added some Tesla punk to it was Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow, which was
Sky Captain in the World of
And
Tomorrow.
it's objectively better in every possible way.
It is literally
yes,
much
but it is
better.
not the movie that introduced me to the concept, and I thought it was important to bring up the movie that introduced me to the concept. Sky Captain's amazing. I love Sky Captain. Sky Captain is everything I wished Aero Troopers would have been.
Sky Captain was great.
Because you have like Sky Captain isn't quite as much with the big airship battles and everything. You don't really have that. You do see airships. You never see them in big battles with each other.
But you do have a sexy lady Nick Fury though.
Yes, played by Angelina Jolie, which I totally remembered perfectly.
Including a goddamn
and it was totally Beard who forgot it.
Fuck you, shut up. And it had 100%. It had the bestest fucking fleet of fucking I just my brain just keeps saying Aero Troopers. The skyships from Marvel film.
The
helicarriers. Yeah.
The helicarrier, yeah.
Yeah, she got a fleet of them.
There's only one.
I was pretty sure there's only one. I don't remember there being a fleet of anything. I remember the Hindenburg, and I remember the big ship.
Fighters.
Yeah, well, she launched fighters from the big ship. That wasn't really a fleet. That's just the fighters that the carrier had.
I just remember many ship.
But Sky Captain was brilliant because it had a lot of amazing Tesla punk, and it spent a lot more time I shouldn't say it spent more time than Arrow Troopers did on its characters, but the characters impressed upon me better in Sky Captain. Whereas Arrow Troopers, it was just the world that impressed upon me. What?
I said probably because they weren't shit.
Well, they look British. I'll put it that way.
But Sky Captain had like a good story, and the actors were on point. They acted very well. The like, I don't know how, lack of a better term, the graphics were so much better.
The animation.
Yeah, the animation. But like also like the props and the costumes and shit.
Cap.
Yes, lens cap.
Because
Hey, motherfucker! I want to watch Arrow Troopers with RTX on.
RTX. Yeah, that's Sky Captain.
I don't know. I feel like Sky Captain had a very different story to it, but
Oh, it surely did.
the one thing we can't recreate is now we don't have Ringo going, "What is lens cap?" And they're like, "It's like the rosebud."
Yeah, we had to.
It's like the rosebud of every.
Then we
What
had
is
to
rosebud?
explain rosebud to him.
So we did try to record this before, and it didn't go well.
Take two, because none of us could get over the fact that Leonis wanted to talk about Arrow Troopers.
We just spent 2
spent like an
hours
hour just
dunking
shitting
on
on Arrow
Arrow
Troopers.
Troopers.
And so when we got to Sky Captain in the last one, Ringo didn't know what lens cap was. Which, if you watch the film, Polly, which is the sort of reporter character that runs around with Sky Captain,
She's
all over the place. She's also his like love interest. At the end of the movie, after they beat everyone, or they beat the robots and everything, and they save the world, you have there's like a missile that got shot up into the air that had like 2 of every animal on it, because the idea was to literally destroy all life on Earth and then restart the Earth with a new ark of the Covenant, which was going to be this rocket, which was going to go up and become a satellite and then come back down.
Noah's Ark is what you're thinking.
Noah's Ark, that's what I meant.
The Ark of the Covenant was that thing in Indiana Jones that melted the Nazis' face off.
Yep, you're right. You are totally correct.
Archangel, and
but as all these animals are coming down from Noah's Ark to Electric Boogaloo, Polly's looking at all of this, and she's been complaining the whole time about getting the perfect picture, and she decides to take a picture of Sky Captain with all this stuff coming down behind him, and then Sky Captain just looks at her and goes, Polly. Lens cap. And it was her last picture.
Yeah, it was her last picture. Oh, Polly.
Oh, man.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
I forgot that was.
It's Gwyneth Paltrow.
Mrs.
Yep.
Goop.
Mrs. Goop herself.
Yep. Mrs. Goop Candle.
Oh, Jesus.
How the mighty have fallen.
No, she's still mighty. She's just mighty weird.
Mighty strange.
In her defense,
But,
she's always been a little weird.
Yeah.
yeah, fair. But we went off and talked about Citizen Kane in the last one because we likened Lens Cap to Rosebud, which I'm not sure why we did, because Rosebud had way less actual explanation to it.
Yeah, but and again, to be fair, Citizen Kane is a classic film. It's considered one of the all-time greats.
See, I wouldn't consider it a formative film for myself, but it is something that when I went to film school, when I was looking to get a degree in it, they insisted upon us that we watched it, and we did watch it in class. Movies back in that era weren't anywhere near as long as movies today are. But to be fair, it also took a lot more work to make them.
I'm pretty sure Citizen Kane was a pretty long movie.
Well,
I remember it being like an hour and a half, maybe.
Early period films where it was considered a long film if it was half an hour. Citizen Kane was like the beginning of that point where movies started being like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Citizen
But like
Kane.
Citizen Kane is considered in the filming community to be the greatest film ever made.
Bullshit.
It's not. It just isn't.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
but it-
I'm
Vince
sorry.
surpassed. It's just a traditional thing. It's kind of like if you're in
IMDb
theater and you're in a theater.
IMDb places it at number 94. Excuse you.
Yeah, well, that's because IMDb is like, you know, what is
A
the
little
highest
more
grossing,
objective.
etc. It's the people who are like in the film community who went to film school and are making films. It's part of their education to have like a reverence for Citizen Kane
Also-
because it was the first great film.
Also, it's an hour and 59 minutes. That's the runtime.
Yeah.
It was a long ass movie.
It's
It
like
wasn't
2
a
hours.
gas movie then.
That's what I was
It's
trying
just
to say.
about
Like,
this,
it's one of the earliest movies that was like 2 hours long and wasn't just an absolute mess.
Also, because I was
That's
curious, I clicked on their list of top movies. Do you guys want to know what number 1 is? Just real
Yes,
quick.
I am very curious what
James
IMDb
Cameron's
thinks number
Avatar.
1 is.
The Shawshank Redemption.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not. I think number 2 should be number 1.
What's number 2?
The Godfather.
Oh yeah. How
Oh,
did that get
100%.
beaten out by Shawshank?
Oh my god.
I'll
The
also
Godfather is so much better.
I'll also say Lord of the Rings doesn't show up until number 7.
Well, it's also older,
Oh,
so other things
dare
have more
they.
chance to beat it.
It's
by now.
under Schindler's List.
Schindler's List is pretty good though.
I've never seen it.
So see, the thing with Schindler's List is
Yes.
it's a very emotional gut punch. Because what it's about is this guy during World War II who is not a Jew, and he sells almost everything he has to make it like he is really rich already, and he just keeps saving more and more Jews from the Nazi tyranny. And like at the end of that movie, he's looking at all the people he saved, which is some 600 some odd Jews,
Yeah, and he's
and
breaks down
he's
crying,
like, and he
"That's
starts
hardly
crying
anything
and saying,
wrong."
"It's not enough. It's not enough. This ring on my finger, I could have sold that. This coat on my back, I could have sold that. I could have saved one more person. I could have done one more thing." And then these Jewish people have to come to him and say, "You worked your ass off. Stop acting like you didn't do a good thing for us. You did do enough."
Yeah, Schindler's List is a
And
movie
it's-
about one man attempting to stand in the face of the absolute horrors of World War II and the Nazi
Yeah.
regime. And it's
Yeah.
about how he personally believes that he failed. And it's the whole crescendo of the movie is he believes he did not do enough. And it breaks him as a person. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is like, you're one of the greatest heroes that ever lived, but he cannot look at himself in the mirror because he believes he failed. Because there were 6 million Jews that were killed, and he didn't even save 1% of that.
Poor
I think
guy.
600 is
It's-
about 1% of that, but
But it's when I say that it's a really good film, I want to make clear, like, when you watch it all the way through and you get to that end, you are bawling.
yeah, if you don't
at,
feel
like-
something, it's because you're a
Yeah.
fucking sociopath.
Yeah, you're a psychopath if you don't feel anything by the end of that movie.
But is
That thing
it
is
worth?
100%
but-
of million
but-
to 1,000.
But is it worth being number 6 film of all time though?
Yeah, probably.
yeah,
Mm,
easily,
Is
easily.
it worth? Second question: is it worth being underneath The Dark Knight?
No.
Hell no! It's
No.
way
I would
better
say
than The
Schindler's
Dark
List
Knight.
is a better movie than any Batman movie that's ever been made. Because
Well-
Batman is a fun superhero movie that talks about like big stakes and superhero stuff. But at the end of the day, you know Batman's
Big
going to come out on
stake.
top.
The
Schindler's
Dark
List
Knight
about
is
the real horrors that happen on
The Dark
planet
Knight
Earth.
is number 4. Schindler's
the
List
nature
is
of
number
humanity.
6. Don't ask me.
Big steak.
That's so bad. No, Schindler's List is. I feel like if nothing else, it's really important because it was Schindler's List is another one of those films. It's fucking
Tarsus.
Steven Spielberg made it, and it's one of his earlier films.
I'm pretty sure Schindler's List was fairly recent, unless that was a remake.
That was a
1993.
remake. Yeah,
Excuse you.
Okay, even I know that's not a fucking recent movie. What the fuck?
yeah.
I don't know. I thought I remembered there being a new version of it recently.
There might have been, because I know like one of the major things that he did. I don't remember if it was through the whole movie or just through parts of the movie. Is that there was a lot of black and white, and there was a red scarf that kept coming back. That was like a theme. Um,
There is a Schindler's List 25 years later, but I think that's like a documentary or something.
That might
but
be what it
anyway, yeah. So like that's another one I saw in film class, and to be fair, that was an excellent job of like making your audience feel, and that I think is something that a movie should do. You should feel for the people in the
Now,
film or
see,
whatever.
what I'm sad about is the fact that Princess Bride is all the way down at 247.
That's some bullshit right there. Princess Bride is brilliant.
But I think we've tangented long enough, though.
Yeah, yeah. So I will let Zeta talk about what he wants to talk about.
Okay, so I'm just gonna cover Lord of the Rings and stuff. Since I said Lord of the Rings first, we'll go to Lord of the Rings first. Lord of the Rings, as Leona's touched upon, is one of like the greatest classic fantasy settings. It is arguably
There's a lot more to it than the
it's-
movies too.
Yeah. There's so much more to it than the movies. Even before we started making video games and adding to the lore, there was already excuse me, a bunch of stuff that was covered in the books that wasn't covered in the movies. There were whole characters that were left out of the movies. There were whole scenes, areas of the world that were left out. But ultimately, Lord of the Rings is a story of good versus evil and what it takes for a good man to defeat evil. And that's one of the Misty's coming in to give his commentary. For the listeners, Misty is one of my cats. He just jumped up and put his face between me and the microphone. Get down, boy. Where was I? Oh yeah, it's about the nature of good versus evil and what it takes, the sacrifices that it takes for good to prevail against evil. So you have the character Gandalf at one point gives up his life to defeat a mighty demon so that the rest of the team can continue on. And it's the whole story revolving around Frodo is about how the burden of the ring becomes heavier and heavier and heavier with every single step as the world moves one step closer to oblivion and chaos with every single step that he takes in the direction of making it right. And it's about the weight on his shoulders and the decisions that he has to make on the way there. And it portrays... There's a lot of things that are lost upon people who just go, oh yeah, it was a fun fantasy movie, and weren't like really paying attention. For instance, like I don't think I've seen another movie portray like positive heroic masculinity as well as Viggo Mortensen's Aragorn in the trilogy of the movies. Or you have Frodo, who's depicted as slightly more effeminate. But it's still it's the like a righteous innocence, so to speak, and it's just a lot of culture doesn't capture things like that as well. So that's one of the biggest draws for Lord of the Rings to me is like it captures the epitome of the heroic journey and the ideals of the West and what is good and what is evil very, very well, and it is told very, very well. And even if the CG technology doesn't hold up to later films from around today, it is still animated very, very well, and it will never not be worth watching. It is probably one of the greatest films ever made, the trilogy, because of the story it tells and because of the way it tells that story. Then on the other hand, you have Star Wars, which again was
Before you jump to Star Wars, can I say a piece about Lord of the Rings real quick?
yeah, sure.
I also wanted to point out that while it does all of that you said about it encapsulating good and evil and the morals of the West and all of that is true. I also wanted to point out that in the end, Frodo fails to actually complete his journey.
That's
You know,
I didn't want to go
to the
too much
end.
into the story, but yeah, when he's there,
I
the
feel like that's
final
important.
step, the very
fails.
last step of the journey, all he has to do is let go of the ring,
And he can't do it.
He's
And
overcome.
And it's
by
not even his best
selfish
friend
desires.
Sam who saves the day. It's another evil entity, Gollum, saying, "No, I want it now," who attacks him, and in that attack falls into
Frodo sends him
the fire.
over and falls into the fires of doom.
Oh, Frodo doesn't send him
Snaps.
over. He's victorious. He bites Frodo's finger off, and he's like, "Yeah!" But he's standing on
Gets
the edge
ring
and doesn't
from
realize how
Frodo,
close.
And he's all euphoric that he has the ring, and then Frodo pushes him. Either Frodo or Sam, I forget.
I'm
pushes him
gonna
No.
say that was
off
Sam.
the-
I don't think it was Frodo.
Frodo's a timid little fucking coward.
No, the ground
Compared
just
to
crumbles
Samwise, the
underneath him.
fucking
Because he's right on the edge. He's right on the edge of the cliff.
push
The crown crumbles
forward
under him,
into
and he falls.
Frodo.
Neither of them actually push him over. And even if they did in the movie, that's not how it was in the books. But the point of that is
no. Frodo pushes Gollum because he's still under the influence of the ring. Thus, the ring is still destroying itself. Evil still destroys itself by doing evil.
yeah, essentially that's
so it
the
was
idea.
Frodo that pushed him, but he pushed him because he had already given in to his selfish desires, and it's after the ring is destroyed that he snaps back out of it. And Sam is like, "We gotta get the fuck out of here."
Yeah. But I just wanted to bring up that it also encapsulates the fact that because Frodo fails at the last, it shows that we ain't all perfect, and if we get that close to our goal, we might not make it.
Yeah, and it's another reason I also like to highlight Aragorn, because those are really the two that you find in the films. Oh, and it's cool, so wise, and
You are breaking up really, really bad.
to the story of Aragorn.
Dude, I don't know if you can hear us, but what we're hearing is that's why I want to Gorn and Frodo.
Okay,
And I don't know what the I don't know what the audience will hear, but
green bean.
well, if you were hearing me that way, then it probably was getting on the recording that way.
Yeah, if that's how I'm hearing it, that's definitely how it's getting recorded.
And let me pick up where I left off. The two male figures in Lord of the Rings be following are Frodo and Aragorn, and we kind of just went over Frodo's. The end of Aragorn's journey is, he's been the warrior. The whole thing in the first place at the beginning of the films, he did not want to be the king. He does not want to have to handle that responsibility, and it also follows Aragorn's journey throughout the three films of becoming more than the loner that sits in the corner staring edgily at people. He becomes the leader.
That's a word.
Yeah, he's the edgy rogue that sits in the corner and stares at people. That's what he is at the beginning of the movie, the first movie, and by the end of the third movie, he's quite literally gone through fire. He's been advised by people who are older and wiser than him. He has become the leader he needs to be, and he gets the girl.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The only reason he got the girl was because the kind of the key factors to any relationship, he listened, he made the sacrifices he needed to sacrifice, and he put his fucking big boy pants on.
You know what's funny? Everything you just said can be also applied to Sam.
Yeah, Sam's
the hero.
Sam is the hero of the story.
He is 100% the hero of the story.
Because essentially the idea is the book was written by Bilbo and then Frodo and then finished by Sam. And the idea is that you are getting the story as told to you by Sam. So Sam is kind of the hero of the story because he starts out kind of similar to Aragorn, but Aragorn becomes the king. So it's he starts out as this timid, scared. I don't want to do this. I don't want to
know nothing, Mr. Gandalf, sir.
Gandalf basically says, well, now that you've accidentally overheard the secret mission, you have to go with or else.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the film, there's one moment where Frodo is essentially trying to give up because the closer he gets to the volcano to destroy the ring, the heavier and more painful it gets. And he refuses to let anybody else carry the ring. So Sam is like, well, if you won't let me carry the ring, I'll just carry you. And it was this big important moment of, I think the best word I could
Sam gonna break his back from
brotherhood.
carrying the team. That's what it is.
Yeah. Sam is definitely
Oh, 100%.
Sam kind of follows basically the same path as
He is the
Aragorn.
hard carry, though, for real.
Yeah. Gandalf is like the ultimate support character in the series, followed very closely by Sam. But yeah, Sam is the one who defeats the giant spider. Sam is the one who kicks the ass of all the orcs in the tower that are fighting each other over Frodo's loot. And then Sam, I want to say, I could be wrong because it's been a bit since I've watched it, but when they're wearing the orc armor and they're marching with the orcs, I think it was Sam who was like, start a fight with me. And, it starts like taking charge and making things happen. And then the whole I'll carry you. Aragorn's story is a story of becoming the man you're supposed to be and embracing leadership. Sam's journey is about becoming the man you're supposed to be and embracing brotherhood. Frodo's story is essentially the Christ story. He's a direct allegory for Christ.
He's the fucking isekai Frodo Baggins.
Anyway,
with the exception
Star
that
Wars.
Christ doesn't fail in the Bible.
Well, no, because that was Tolkien's whole point is he's a man and therefore he fails. Hobbit, but you know what I mean, same thing.
Moving on to Star Wars.
So Star Wars is equally influential because it is also a story about good versus evil. In the original trilogy, it's about Luke Skywalker facing the evils of the Empire and coming through victorious. My favorite character in the entire series, along with a lot of people, especially with all the expanded stuff, is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because Obi-Wan Kenobi is
Hello there.
He's like the previous main character. But yeah, Star Wars is George Lucas designed Star Wars to essentially be a space opera samurai movie.
And boy, is it.
It's interesting that he uses the term opera because I don't think there's a single song in the entire series.
That's not true.
We're not counting the Christmas special.
I'm not. There's still a song.
Shut up.
I also don't wanna count-
No, I was gonna
That's
say.
a music piece. That isn't a song. That is a music piece. It is not a song. In the special edition, they added a song in Jabba's palace. The band that's playing.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But
Yeah, whatever the fuck.
That weird fucking stripper alien
like
or
a
whatever
bug
she
guy
was.
and armadillo woman.
Yeah.
It was very strange. Anyway, yeah, lightsabers are fucking cool, but like the nature of the Force is essentially what's being discussed, and the nature of the Force is sort of an allegory again for good and evil. So it's
Anakin,
I
your
know
midichlorian
Star Wars
count.
is a lot more complicated than Lord of the Rings when it comes down to breaking down that kind of plot. So I don't want to say a lot of the same things I've already said. But Star Wars is also very influential because before Star Wars, space films were things like some of the early Star Trek series, or there was this one movie called The Last Starfighter that was.
Oh my god!
It's decent, but it's one of those like
The Navigator.
You're dreaming. Go
I
back
don't
to
wanna
sleep.
about
The
Flight of
fucking Navigator. Oh
Flight of
my
the
Flight of the
god!
Navigator is sort of an isekai of itself, but it's like I don't know, it's weird.
It is weird.
But yeah, after Star Wars came out,
Where have
we
you been
started
for
getting-
30 years? Time traveling.
Yeah, time traveling with this zany AI that it used to be like, all logic until it scanned my brain, and now it's like so cool, bro.
It's so cool. It scanned the
that is
brain
like
of a fucking 12-year-old.
That is like
Yeah.
the most legit description of that movie I've
Yeah,
ever heard.
I don't know how else I
It's
would describe it to you.
frighteningly
Other than
accurate.
Timmy boy has crush on girl, goes to space with AI, comes back and is like, "Fuck it, what else could go wrong? Let's ask that girl out."
And then she says no.
I don't remember if she said no or not, but
No, obviously she says yes. It couldn't be a Disney film with a sad ending.
I don't remember if it was a Disney film or not. But probably that sounds like '90s Disney. But yeah, Star Wars. It's about like the horrors of war and good versus evil. And it's like a space version of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's a
You got the
Disney
evil
movie.
Emperor. Yeah. But yeah,
What the
it's,
fuck was that other one?
wasn't-
Oh, that was
Right,
another like high profile space movie from before Star Wars was Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren. That was the kind of quality space opera we got before Star Wars. Nowadays we have a lot more Star Wars, but we have a bunch of other things too now.
What the fuck was that one movie that was like Zoe in space or whatever?
Xenon Girl of the 21st Century or 31st Century, whatever it was. Is that what you're talking about?
It might be it.
Anyway, those are all the movies that I'm going to talk about.
Fucking shit! There's a sequel to it called The
Yeah,
Sequel.
I'm pretty sure there's like 3 Xenon movies.
Wait, are we talking about Xenon, the girl from space?
21st century, yeah.
Oh my
I'm
Xenon
sorry.
is
I
god.
just looked at
That movie series was so
IMDb,
bad.
Yeah,
and I
There was
just
a third
can't
one.
help but laugh. It looks so awful.
Here's the
What?
thing. I
What
remember
the
liking
fuck?
that film when I was younger. Looking back, I'm not a fan.
Oh my god, there
Yeah, all I
actually is
remember
3
was
of
like,
them.
"Whoa, space."
Yeah, the third one's called
Yeah.
like Z3 or something.
Yeah, Z3, which was in 2004.
Bruh.
Mhm.
I was named that.
It looks like every laser tag place that you've ever been to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I can't remember which one of them is about like this virus,
All I know,
computer virus that they find. That they
Um,
try to convince her to upload it to the space station or whatever.
what are you talking about?
I don't know if that
I don't
picked
know,
up
I'm
what I
pretty
was
sure
trying to
only
say. I
saw
just picked up
Xenon,
yawning.
The first one. She's got like a
I
race
saw all
car
3 of them.
outfit in one of these. It's all pink, and she looks like a fucking Power Ranger.
Yeah.
But hey, guess what? Thunderbirds got a movie, so
Yeah, Thunderbirds didn't.
Thunderbirds deserved a movie, though.
was still with puppets, though, right? Or did they make one that was like
No, they
live
made
action?
a live
They made
action.
a live action Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds.
they made 2, in fact. There's a second one
movie.
called Thunderbirds A Go.
Oh my god, it has Ben Kingsley in it
Yes.
and Vanessa Hudgens.
Yep.
It was also in 2004. Huh.
2015, Thunderbirds Are Go. And that one is animated.
Is it
Oh boy.
is it like animated or claymation animation?
Oh boy. This is
It's animated, but it's well, it's 3D animation, but it's like Blender 3D animation,
So it's, tolerable, not Arrow
Yeah.
Troopers.
not Arrow Troopers.
yeah. It's like It looks like a more evolved version of Dragon Booster, basically.
I will say, if
cell shaded.
Oh my god, we should do an episode on stupid shows we like as teenagers.
If you want,
yes, we should.
Yeah, if you want a show that's just stupid and funny, go watch the original 1960s Thunderbirds. Good lord, is it hilarious?
Well, the funny thing about that is that's exactly what it was supposed to be.
It's so fucking dumb, but it's so fucking funny.
All right, well, I've covered all
the
movies.
The live action movie, like, it failed because it did not deliver on that fun at all.
No, it didn't.
It made it all super
Trying to take
serious.
itself too seriously.
Yeah.
Do we want to try to talk about Amazon Prime's attempt at making a Lord of the Rings series that hasn't come out yet and already is extremely controversial?
What part of it's controversial?
It's supposed to cover the age of myth or whatever. The first and second age.
Yeah, there was. I don't know if you remember.
You mean it's supposed to cover the Silmarillion?
No.
Silmarillion, the Lost Tales, the Children of Barenai.
I can explain. There's a scene in, I believe, Two Towers, where Aragorn and Arwen are like having a moment, and then later, it's like, oh, that's a flashback, and Frodo's asking about the like silver angel jewel thing that Aragorn wears that Arwen gave him, and he tells Frodo about this this legend. It's like an old ballad, this old elven couple that's kind of like Middle Earth's version of Romeo and Juliet. It's about those two people.
Uh-huh.
So it's about Elrond's mom and dad.
Well, no, it's more like Elrond's great grandparents.
No, it's Elrond's mom and dad.
It's set in the second age of Middle Earth, thousands of years before the events of Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
Yes, it's Elrond's mom and dad.
I don't think so.
I think it is exactly that.
Well, Elrond, no, because Elrond's been around since the fall of Sauron.
He's been around since well before the fall of Sauron. He's been around since Morgoth got first defeated. Because at the end of...
Apparently, it's about... it doesn't actually give names, but
we
it's
have
about the King of Numenor
wandered
and the
straight
Queen of
into I know nothing about this territory.
So Numenor is like the ancient human capital where basically everybody was Captain America because ancient humans were like superhuman compared to modern humans in Middle
They were
Earth.
given a lot of goodies by the gods until they betrayed the gods, and then the gods were like, well, fuck you then.
Yeah,
Boy,
there was
oh
apparently
boy,
at
where
one point
did we
where
go
men were
so
physically
wrong?
stronger than elves. But as men do, because like you get the classical elven hatred for mankind comes from Lord of the Rings. It's essentially because they spurned their
the classical elven hatred for mankind. That's what I call my wine.
Well, it's a thing that occurs a lot in fantasy. How many fantasy settings have you seen where elves are like, my god, humans are just so cool?
Every Santa Claus story.
Those are gnomes. Although I seem to recall that there was one movie where like elves legitimately thought Mjolnir was so cool, and they like the angel of death comes for him, and it's like the elven king is like, not this one, and like him and his cat or dog or whatever get this blanket of immortality or whatever.
What the fuck?
You're talking about the I don't remember the name of the movie either, but you're talking about Kris Kringle. I don't know why you called him Mjolnir.
Well, because he's also Mjolnir in that movie.
Mjolnir?
The fuck?
The modern image of Santa Claus, like the Coca-Cola Santa Claus, that's Mjolnir from Norwegian myth. Like you have the English call him Father Christmas. Most of Europe calls him Father Christmas. America calls him Santa Claus. There's like all these different names for him across the world. Well, his like old Scandinavian name is Mjolnir.
Mjolnir's a hammer.
No, that's Mjolnir.
No, Mjolnir and Mjolnir are two different names. He's right. Mjolnir is a mythical man in Norse myth, and he does have something to do with the winter solstice and the winter season. But
yeah,
I don't remember
he's like a
exactly
half
what.
elf or something.
Mjolnir is
He's
formerly a
literally Santa
volcanic
Claus.
island south of Iceland.
Yeah, who do you think that was named after?
You should Google Mjolnir Greek myth.
I did. I got an island off of.
Or Mjolnir, not Greek myth, Norse myth. Not Mjolnir. Stupid.
No, I looked up
it
Mjolnir and I got an island.
Was it Mjolnir?
Mjolnir Santa. Look up Mjolnir Santa. Apparently, Mjolnir is actually
Ymir?
one of the alternate names for Odin. So Odin is Santa Claus.
Yeah. Well, that's what people say. Odin is Santa Claus. But I do recall the movie you're talking about. It's an animated film. And I don't remember much of it because it was one of those ones that mom and dad were like, yeah, we shouldn't expose our children to too much. Too much magic.
Too much magic, not enough Christ. Boy, if that doesn't describe my childhood.
Yeah, exactly, right? No Dragon Ball because it has that Eastern chi stuff in it.
Chi?
I mean, just
talking about?
That's how white people say it.
Excuse me, that's key?
Yeah, but white people don't pronounce it that way because it's not written that way.
Good for you.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Are you you good over there, Zeta?
I think I am. Well,
okay.
You're cutting out again.
That time. Yeah.
Were we
But yeah, I've covered all of my movies, so I think that's everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we done talking now?
We can be.
But are we?
Hurry up
That's
and
the
get
question.
Well, it seems like we've run out of shit to say, so
well, before we get off, what are we talking about next week?
I think we could decide that after the episode's over.
I guess we can if you want.
I think we were doing books, like most important books.
Oh
Books are
Jesus, that's
fun.
gonna be a freaking
I'm gonna be
essay and
coming
a
right
half.
back to Lord of the Rings, my guy.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? Oh, now we can talk about the Silmarillion in depth.
See, that's the fun thing is you read Silmarillion, I read the Spark Notes. I actually have not read Silmarillion.
I'll tell you
I
right
read the
now.
whole fucking thing.
I'll tell you right now. If you come up here and tell me we're gonna go in depth in the Silmarillion, I'm gonna tell you no.
The Silmarillion needs its
We
own.
could
like,
do-
if Lord
we
of the
could
Rings is
do
gonna
the
have its
Lord of
own
the
episode,
Rings.
The Silmarillion by itself.
The
needs
longest
its own episode.
runtime this show has ever had is 2.5 hours. The Silmarillion would easily double that just by itself.
If we're gonna go into Silmarillion, that needs its own episode because there's so much. The Spark Notes was like 14 pages.
The goob of the gob when he
Yeah.
went to the yob and he had his bob and
Gondolin, Numenor, angels, Balrogs, a lot of elves.
the
Really pretty
creature
gems that are totally
with the
not
hammer.
Arcans.
That actually confirmed whether or not the Arkenstone is a Silmarillion. But it is theorized.
Anyway.
Or is it Silmaril? Yeah. And immediately he's like, I regret.
Listen. Silmarillion is just too much.
If you think
It's
that's bad, the
just-
Legendarium is worse.
Probably not something that could feasibly in this mat.
Yeah, probably not. We'd have to do a whole ass book club thing.
All right. I feel like since we
Uh,
covered Lord of the Rings in
fucking
movies, we probably shouldn't cover it in books. We should pick something else. But I don't even know, like, because I've never read any of the big important books.
Who cares? Who said we were
Except
talking
maybe
about?
Alice in
Who
Wonderland.
said we were talking about big important books? Talk to whatever book is important to you.
I
I was gonna talk about.
Ski's crime punishment.
I was gonna say like, crime and punishment and zombies.
Yes.
that's a book.
Yes.
Yeah. A parody of crime.
Is
and it
book and
doesn't
comic
exist.
and or graphic novel also count as book?
movie out of
Or is that its
it was like
own
Pride and
episode?
Prejudice and Zombies, and it was like, why is this a thing? It's up there with Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Well, I think we've exhausted our. How long has this call been going on now?
You
Wow.
know, almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this has been the tutorial.
If you learned something, please, for the love of God, tell me what it was, because I couldn't.
Tell us about how you learned how Aragorn is the greatest male figure of all time.
Don't put. I swear to God, don't put that in the comments. Don't do it. Don't listen to Zeta. Don't listen to Zeta. Don't fucking do it.
You know, we all want to be Aragorn.
Don't you dare.
Like this video and I will
Be a king.
cheese.
What part of Aragorn
What
would I
the
want to
fuck?
be? The part where, hold on, what?
Ringo
I don't
just
know
said,
what
like
Ringo's
this
talking
video
about.
and I will cheese.
That's just Ringo being Ringo. He says that shit all the time.
Like the video,
Uh,
be a king, king, get the elf princess.
Listen.
That's right. I like the video to be a king.
I will
Listen,
simply walk in the morning.
Aragorn bothers me, okay? There's no part about like, hello, my name's Aragorn.
Almost everything Aragorn says is ASMR, unless he's commanding forces, then he's shouting.
Ride me!
That's right. Like the only part in the movie where he like raises his voice that I can recall is "You will suffer me."
Yeah,
Like,
talking to
that's-
the ghosts, or when he's giving the speech, Men of the West.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. So twice.
So twice,
twice
in,
he
the,
raises
twice
his
in the
voice.
whole movie where I could understand what he was saying. I'm sorry. Twice in the whole trilogy where I could understand what he was saying. The rest of it was just like.
Well, actually, he
and all the
shouts a few
subtitles
times-
and all the
he
subtitles
shouts a
say
few
is
times during the Battle of Helm's Deep as well.
all the subtitles say is Vito mumbling.
The only other line I
Some
remember him
ASMR.
saying is no, my
Don't go
friends,
close
you
to
bow to no one.
Anyway, did we hit the stop recording button yet?
Nope.
This has
Well,
been the
let's go.
tutorial for the second time.
Woo!
All
I
right.
kind of assumed he hit stop
If you
recording
learned
after we did
something,
this
post in
the
comments
first time.
about why the
We-
kings of Nubia
we,
had-
we had boy oh boy am I gonna have to edit a lot in this episode. All right, everybody say goodbye now.
Bye bye.